Hello and welcome back to How a Shark Thinks. Today's episode is once again with Mako, but this time on Antigua. Another major difference is that we are up against a pair of good divers, more specifically Rootkit and Nihilist. One of the most common obstacles you will be encountering in this game is exactly that. More often than not, a new player struggles to understand what they should be doing to win since better players punish their mistakes so severely. In this video, you'll see what mistakes not to do against multiple better players and the plays that garner you better results. Much like last time, the teammate is a great white. On Antigua, I am rushing to get to safe 1 as soon as I first spawn. As some lungers, you can get there fast enough to get in a cheeky spot and likely a free kill afterwards. I'm using basic movement here because I want to be quiet. I don't want to alert anyone to where I am. Everyone is looking in front of them, therefore I choose to attack the diver lagging behind the most. When I'm thrashing the diver, I either ascend or descend in an attempt to throw off their aim. Immediate lunge as soon as I finish the kill. I see a diver chasing, so I lunge as soon as I get stamina to get out of their line of sight. Missed my initial lunge, but one guy is still unaware and my target is too late to turn around, so I attempt for a trade here. Have I learned my lesson? Will good divers change my ways and let me acknowledge the importance of playing it safe? Will I actually play the damn game? Nope, hyper late game baby! Now that I did this to myself, it's time to try and work with it. I want an entrance closer to the center of the room, so I rotate to the left. There's flare there though. But my teammate is about to go in and I don't have much time to rotate or get my full stamina back. This is pretty risky for me, but the Great White goes in, so I gamble following through. Unfortunately, the planets align unfavorably. My teammate failed his initial lunge, the flare dragged attention towards me, and Root is aware of how to counter a Mako by prioritizing me over the Great White. The hyper late game build makes this punishment more severe. I decide to mix up my entrances and go for the ceiling. I set the wall up and I just notice a diver trying for a peek, so I get out of their line of sight. This is a pretty risky attack, but the other diver's unfavorable positioning and my immediate responses let me get away. I go for a reset here. Now, this seemed like a good opportunity since they were distracted by the Great White, but there are a couple of issues with this attack. First off, I'm using an entrance close to where the teammate is. The divers are already looking over here, so they will definitely see me coming in and this gives them time to react. Second off, Root is focused on not letting me have kills, meaning he is expecting me to come in at some point and will undoubtedly deny as many kills as possible. As a result, the attack fails. We do get enough points for Hangry, so we'll get it for gold denial and saving time while we can. My teammate is not here yet, so I start setting up the ceilings. A sensor hits me, but me hitting the walls gave my position away regardless, so that doesn't really mean anything. I'm careful to hit the very edge of the breakable so that I don't risk myself being in the diver's line of sight while also breaking down the ceiling. The Great White was already in, but I'm too late to attack. If I attacked earlier, that diver would not have seen or fired at me. A diver randomly goes upwards. I'm not sure if this was to take a peek or try for a pot shot, but I'll take it. Remember to punish overly aggressive divers. I thought the Great White was going to go in, but he doesn't, so I refrain from entering as well. The sensor hits me, so I lure their attention away from my teammate. My teammate has already engaged, and someone came out to snipe him from behind, but I was too late to capitalize. Missed the diver and took a lot of damage, so I'm heading for an escape and a reset instead. This time, I'm swimming a lot higher up, so the fog hides me from the divers better. It also makes the heartbeat from my proximity slower, which can give them the impression that I'm far away. One diver bites the bait and goes out alone to collect gold. Consequently, I mark and kill him. I see Root outside, and I approach him directly from above. He turns around to fire, but not in the correct direction, and it's because he doesn't expect the shark to be directly above him in this situation. It's less intuitive for all players to think vertically. With enough marked kills, I can afford Nimble Finned and Powerful Tail together. Ladies and gentlemen, we have commenced our entry into the Mako's late game. Things are about to get a lot more interesting. I see a diver straggling behind, trying to use the breakables in the window as cover, but his lack of awareness results in his demise. This, however, was a terrible attack. This is why approaching from open water is just not a good idea. Contrary to what the shark player may think or get used to, better divers can and will see you in the open. You should not get overconfident as the shark. I pick up blindside for better accuracy, evasiveness, and help with corners, followed by immediately hitting a wall.
Better accuracy.
Instead of attacking the diver at the doorway, I choose to set up the ceiling. Variety of entrances and exits are beneficial for the shark. Since I'm tagged, I immediately lunge away after breaking the ceiling, just for good measure. Now that I have Nimble Finned, I can use darts for cheap positioning without worrying about lunge cooldowns. After I grab the diver, I immediately turn around to exit from the ceiling. The exit is a bit sloppy as I hit the border, but I still make it out thanks to Nimble Finned and blindside. After I grab the seal, I look upwards immediately to keep an eye out for potential chasers. No one's coming outside. After I get my stamina, I set the doorway up and leave it like that for later. One diver swims perfectly into a shark highway, which allows me to swiftly grab him and exit from the front doorway. One diver comes to peek, so I lunge out of his line of sight, and the teammate is just in time to punish them. A shark screen gets put down, which I am not allowing. You're going to see soon enough why it matters to risk taking those down instead of waiting them out. Here's a shark screen counter for your convenience. I lunge away from the ceiling to avoid line of sight, but a sensor hit emboldens the diver to come out and chase. I lunge away to line behind cover. We're gonna do another vertical approach. I wanted to mark and kill the diver who ascended way too high since he rendered himself vulnerable. However, the great white grabbed him before I managed to, so I go for another diver. I get killed here due to bad stamina management and direction. Lunging upwards was a very bad idea since I was still out in the open for everyone to see. What would have been way better was to lunge towards either here, here, or here, and then use blindside to curve into cover and lose line of sight. I get Blood Rage next so that I can synergize it with Killer Instinct soon. I rush to try and get a kill while they're still transitioning, but I fail my initial lunge. I failed my second shot at a diver as well, so at this point I'm just going to bail and leave. The great white comes just in time to benefit from my distraction and trades. I grab a diver myself, and unfortunately sliding against the wall was not the move here because it gets me stuck against this door frame. This leads to another trade. Trades are in no way detrimental to the sharks. They don't really change the balance of the life tickets, but they give us evolution points and help prevent divers from getting a Steve win. Now that I have Killer Instinct, I have access to unlimited stamina regeneration whenever I will it. They're distracted by the Great White. This time, I use a distant entrance, but it was a pretty bad attack because I got lazy with my lunging here. Thankfully, the diver misses. I get hit with bleed on the way, and the Grey White is just in time to grab my chaser while I'm trying to lose the bleed damage. Got my reset, got rid of the buoy because I don't want this to bite my tail later on. Set the ceiling up, Great White goes in first, and a diver is perfectly placed in front of me, but I misjudged the border of the breakable and missed, so I just leave. Another shark screen. This next attack was just horrendous. No justification for it whatsoever. It might look like I was behind cover here, but truthfully I was still visible to any diver sitting here. Of course, Root was there. The lunging was too slow, and there was no use of blindside, which made me a pretty easy target. The attack also came from a very predictable entrance. It's very common for sharks to take the ceiling route at this safe room. Since they've got bleed and tagging as bullet modifiers, I grabbed placoid scales as a response. They're turning the shark screen on and off here to have it last longer. This is a different shark screen, by the way. A diver tries for a peek, but I lunge away. He thinks I fled completely, but I come back for a quick grab. I aim just a little bit too high for a grab, so I just keep going till I get to a seal. That diver down the middle seems pretty accessible in terms of entry and exit, so I grab him and swim away for a reset. Same mistake is repeated here. I'm not fully behind cover, and Root, with his splitting, manages a kill. That's another shark screen, but I'm not going through that entrance again. The lunges here are terribly executed, but I'm hell-bent on getting this shark screen down no matter what. I should have capitalized on the Great White's distraction and lunged away here, but...
Suicide is badass.
Yet another shark screen. Okay, pause. We've had several shark screens thus far, and Steve is on his way back to the boat. Our life tickets are pretty close. Do you see what they're doing here? This strategy is dubbed the Triple S. It's short for Shark Screen Spam. What the strategy is about is self-explanatory, but here's its ramifications for the sharks. Because the amount of shark screens wastes so much time, it forces the sharks between two decisions. Either they wait the shark screens out in favor of preserving their lives, but in exchange for wasting precious time and risking a loss via Steve, or they attempt taking the shark screens out to save time, but in exchange for risking more life tickets in doing so. We still have an amount of kills to get, and Steve is already on his way back to the boat, so it is essential that the shark screens get destroyed. The whale's corpse does a good job of acting as cover for me here, and I lunge the hell out of their line of sight. Once again approaching them vertically for an ideal approach. Bad stamina management gets me killed here, but I am completely okay with the trade. Nihilist goes too far ahead. It turns out he was trying to put down a cheeky shark screen in the corner while his spawn protection was up. Unfortunately for him, he forgot one crucial detail. Root is looking forward, not paying attention to his flanks. I didn't see the mine here, but I get out of its lethal range just in time. That's another shark screen, and Nihilist kills me due to myself being too slow to get out safely. This time, we can take this slow and careful since it has now boiled down to a 2v2 with Steve still having a long way to the boat. A diver takes a faulty peek outside with low health, leading to his death. It has also come to my attention that my exits with Antigua require a lot more practice. The teammate gets the last kill, leading to the game's end. Let's take a look back at the amount of shark screens they put down. If we did not attempt our best at taking out as many of those as possible, they would have wasted far too much of our time. If we left the shark screens to do their thing, the divers would have certainly pulled off a Steve win. As a speed shark, don't be scared to confront shark screens. Practice reading your opponents, practice your lunging and usage of blindside, practice shark screen termination until you become stellar at it. It will be a crucial skill for facing diver premates, since the Triple S is a popular strategy among some of them. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps you in your sharkly endeavors.